Listen carefully. From the moment you were born, the world began teaching you how to be weak. Your parents told you to be obedient. Your teachers told you to be fair. Society told you to be kind, agreeable, harmless, and you believed them. You thought these lessons were meant to protect you, but they weren't. They were meant to tame you. Picture this. You work hard, stay honest, play by the rules. Yet, the promotion goes to the manipulator who flatters the boss. You love with loyalty and devotion, yet she leaves to the man who keeps her guessing. You speak with logic and reason, yet the crowd follows the man who tells them a story that feels better. Stop. Let that sink in. Haven't you ever wondered why? Why the cunning rise while the honest remain invisible? Why the ruthless are respected while the nice are ignored? 500 years ago, one man gave us the answer. Niccolò Machiavelli. His book was so dangerous that the Catholic Church banned it. Too real, too sharp, too unfiltered. Yet in secret, kings, generals, presidents, CEOs studied every line. They condemned him in public, while privately using his wisdom to rule. And here's the truth. You were never supposed to learn this. You were meant to be predictable, obedient, manageable. But you're here now, and I'll warn you, once you see the world through Machiavelli's eyes, you'll never see people the same way again. Because from this moment forward, you're no longer playing checkers in a world built on chess. You've opened a forbidden book, and there's no going back. The first forbidden truth, the language of emotion. Here's the first forbidden truth. Human beings are not rational. They are emotional. You were told people make choices based on logic, on what's best for them. But if that were true, why do so many destroy themselves with their own decisions? A man coughs blood from years of smoking, yet he lights another cigarette. A worker drowning in debt buys the latest gadget he doesn't need. A woman who swears she wants kindness and stability runs back to the man who keeps her insecure. Logic doesn't rule them. Emotion does. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. For all can see, few can feel." Translation: people don't act on truth. They act on appearances, impressions, feelings. Think about Caesar walking into the Roman Senate. He didn't need to explain his power with data or arguments. His presence alone, his calm authority, his aura was enough to silence the room. The senators didn't follow him because of reason. They followed because of what they felt in his presence. Fear or inevitability. Now imagine yourself in a meeting. You stayed up all night preparing facts, charts, bulletproof logic. You present it all with trembling hope. The room is silent. No one moves. Then another man walks in. He has no data, no preparation, but he speaks with certainty, with vision. He makes the team feel like following him is destiny. Who wins the room? Not you, him. That's when you realize facts don't decide influence. Feelings do. And here's the brutal part. Most men never learn this. They waste their lives trying to explain their way to respect. They hammer people with facts, hoping logic will win. But the truth is, people don't want logic. They want a story that validates their emotions. That's why politicians lie with smiles and still get elected. That's why charismatic leaders win battles they shouldn't. Napoleon once said, "A soldier will fight long and hard for a bit of colored ribbon." Was it rational for men to bleed for a medal? No, but emotionally, it made them feel seen, honored, immortal. So let me ask you, when was the last time you lost an argument you should have won? When was the last time someone ignored the truth you worked so hard to present? And what if you had spoken to their emotions instead of their logic? This is the first transformation. Stop playing chess with facts. Start playing with emotions. It may sound manipulative to men still trapped in illusions of fairness, but it isn't. Manipulation is when you deceive. Persuasion is when you speak the only language humans actually understand. Because here's the reality. Facts are forgotten. Feelings linger. No one remembers the perfect argument, but they'll never forget the man who made them feel. So decide, do you want to be the man ignored despite being right, or the man respected because he can make others believe? Remember this. People don't follow truth. They follow the story that feels true. The second forbidden truth, the illusion of loyalty. From the time you were young, you were told one thing: be loyal. Loyal to your friends, loyal to your company, loyal to your partner. You were told loyalty itself was a virtue, that the more loyal you were, the more respect you would earn. But Machiavelli shattered that illusion with one brutal truth. Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose, it is far safer to be feared than loved. Why? Because blind loyalty is not strength. It is weakness disguised as virtue. Think about it. A friend who only calls when he needs something. A company that tells you we're family until the next round of layoffs. A lover who keeps you waiting while exploring other options. Is that loyalty, or is it one-sided usage? Now ask yourself, how many times have you betrayed your own worth just to stay loyal to someone else? How many times have you given, forgiven, endured while they took and took again? That's not loyalty. That's self-sabotage. Napoleon understood this truth. He said, a soldier will fight long and hard for a bit of colored ribbon. Loyalty is never unconditional. It is always tied to reciprocity, recognition, reward. His soldiers didn't die for abstract honor. They died for what that ribbon represented. Respect, belonging, meaning. Alexander the Great applied the same principle. His men were fiercely devoted, but they knew betrayal meant exile or worse. His trust was real, but never blind, and that balance made him unstoppable. This is what most men refuse to see. Loyalty must be earned. It is not a default setting. It is not something you hand out endlessly. It is a reward for consistent respect and reciprocity. The man who gives loyalty without return is not noble. He is a stepping stone, and you were not born to be stepped on. True strength is knowing when to give and knowing when to withdraw. Be generous with loyalty when it is deserved. But the moment it becomes one-sided, withdraw it without guilt, without hesitation. Because when people know your loyalty has boundaries, they value it more. When they understand losing you comes with consequences, they treat you differently. Your absence must feel expensive. So take a hard look at your circle. Who has truly earned your loyalty? And who has simply taken advantage of it? Machiavelli's wisdom is merciless but liberating. Blind loyalty does not make you righteous. It makes you predictable. And predictable men are always exploited. Remember this. Stop giving loyalty as a gift. Start giving it as a reward. Because loyalty without limits is not honor. It is suicide. The third forbidden truth, the power of reputation. They told you reputation is about being liked, about being nice, about being agreeable. But Machiavelli cut through that illusion with a single truth. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you really are. Reputation is not about being liked. It is about being respected. Picture this. You walk into a room. You haven't said a word, but already people are scanning you. They're deciding who you are, how far they can push you, whether they should respect you or dismiss you. They don't know the real you. They only know the story your reputation tells. Caesar understood this. When he crossed the Rubicon, he didn't need to explain his intentions. His reputation spoke for him. A man who never turned back. A man who would not be stopped. Rome feared his name more than his words. Centuries later, Steve Jobs lived by the same law. He didn't beg for approval or ask permission. He walked on stage in his black turtleneck, unveiled a product, and let his reputation for vision carry the weight. You didn't need to like him, but you respected him. Now imagine yourself in a meeting. One man complains about problems. Another speaks with solutions. Which one does the room respect? You already know. This is where most men fail. They think authenticity means exposure. They reveal everything believing people will admire their vulnerability. But oversharing is not power. It is weakness. True power is strategic authenticity. You don't reveal everything. You reveal just enough. You don't hide who you are. You curate what people see. Because perception isn't part reality. Perception is reality. So ask yourself, what story does your reputation tell when you're not in the room? Do people call you dependable or disposable? Valuable or replaceable? Powerful or harmless? The truth is you already have a reputation. The only question is whether you shape it or let others shape it for you. Here's the formula Machiavelli would give you. Mystery, consistency, scarcity. Mystery keeps people guessing. Consistency builds credibility. Scarcity creates demand. Combine them, and you become magnetic, not because you are loud, but because your silence carries weight. So remember this. Don't chase being liked. Build being respected. Your reputation walks into the room before you do. Make sure it speaks louder than you ever could. The fourth forbidden truth, the inevitability of conflict. From childhood, they told you to avoid conflict. Keep the peace. Don't make waves. But Machiavelli destroyed that illusion with one line. War cannot be avoided. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. Conflict is not optional. It is inevitable. Picture this. A general stands on the edge of a battlefield. He doesn't want war, but the enemy advances anyway. His choice is simple. Fight now or be crushed later. Now bring it closer to your own life. In the office, someone wants your position. In love, someone wants her attention. In social circles, someone is always testing how far they can push you before you push back. You can pretend the world is neutral. You can whisper, "I just want peace." But peace without strength is only the silence before the storm. Winston Churchill said it best. You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth. You cannot negotiate with envy. You cannot debate with ambition. You cannot bargain with betrayal. If you are unprepared, you're already losing. Imagine you're in a meeting. A rival steals your idea and claims it as his own. Do you stay quiet for peace? Or do you sharpen your words and reclaim what is yours? Imagine your partner crosses the same boundary again and again. Do you let it slide for comfort, or do you draw the line even if it costs you? Your answer decides whether you are respected or erased. Machiavelli taught that power is a balance between the lion and the fox. The lion uses strength to strike fear. The fox uses cunning to avoid traps. A lion without cunning falls into every snare. A fox without strength gets eaten by wolves. But a man who becomes both the lion and the fox is untouchable. So ask yourself, which are you? The man who prays conflict never comes, or the man who quietly sharpens his blade, knowing it always will? Preparation is more than weapons. It is saving money when others waste it, training your body when others grow complacent, building skills while no one is watching, disciplining your mind while others drown in distraction. Because when the test comes, and it always comes, you won't have time to prepare. You'll either stand ready or fall broken. Machiavelli's wisdom is merciless but freeing. Stop fearing conflict. Start preparing for it. Because the man who fears conflict is already defeated. The man who prepares for war, even in peace, cannot be conquered. The fifth forbidden truth, niceness versus goodness. For generations, you were told a lie. Just be nice and people will like you. But Machiavelli would laugh at that illusion because niceness and goodness are not the same thing. Niceness is easy. It bends. It avoids conflict. It seeks approval. Goodness is hard. It stands firm. It confronts. It holds principle even when it costs. Picture two men. The first is the nice guy. He says yes when he wants to say no. He swallows every insult in the name of peace. He avoids confrontation. Terrified of rejection, people smile at him, thank him, and then forget him. The second is the good man. He is not cruel. He is not reckless. But when a line is crossed, he enforces it. He speaks uncomfortable truths. He risks being disliked because his standards matter more than approval. People may resent him. They may fear him, but they never ignore him. Ask yourself, who do you respect more? History gives the answer. Abraham Lincoln was not nice. He was mocked, hated, even despised his own time. But he was good. Good in the sense that he upheld principle above popularity. And because of that, he is remembered as one of history's greatest leaders. Meanwhile, countless nice politicians came and went, forgotten because they chose comfort over clarity. Now bring it closer. Why do women say they want a nice guy, but chase the man who challenges them? Because niceness feels safe, but it also feels weak. Goodness paired with strength carries weight, and weight is magnetic. So ask yourself, how many times have you kept silent to avoid offending someone only to lose their respect anyway? How many times have you betrayed your own values just to be liked and ended up invisible? Niceness seeks comfort. Goodness demands courage, and courage always earns respect. Here lies the paradox. The man who risks being disliked often becomes the most respected of all. The man who dares to be firm often becomes the one others follow. Because people do not respect those who beg for approval. They respect those who live by a code, even if that code makes them unpopular. So here is your choice. Do you want to be remembered as the man who bent, who pleased, who vanished into the background, or as the man who stood, who fought, who carved his name into history? Niceness is forgettable, but goodness, when paired with strength, is unforgettable. Remember this. Nice men are liked, but good men are remembered. The sixth forbidden truth: actions over words. Here's a brutal truth. Words lie, actions don't. Machiavelli warned us. Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims. People will promise anything. They will swear loyalty, swear love, swear respect. But promises are theater. Behavior is truth. Picture this. Your boss praises you. You're doing great. You're next in line. Months pass. The promotion never comes. His words meant nothing. His actions told the truth. A friend says, "You're like a brother to me." But the moment you say no to favor, he disappears. His behavior revealed his nature. A partner says, "You're the only one." Yet she hides her phone, flirts with options, keeps you waiting. Her actions cut deeper than her words ever could. Now think back to your own life. How many times have you believed words you wanted to hear while ignoring the behavior screaming reality? Caesar never made that mistake. He did not judge senators by their oaths, but by their patterns, their ambition, their moves. That is why he foresaw betrayal, because he trusted behavior, not declarations. Alexander the Great rewarded his men not for what they promised, but for what they proved in battle. Blood, not speeches, bought his trust. So let me ask you, who in your life is speaking pretty words but showing ugly patterns? And worse, are you doing the same? Do your actions align with your promises? Or are you hiding behind words, hoping no one notices? Most men cling to words because words feel good. They want to believe the lie. They want comfort more than clarity. And that is why they are betrayed again and again. But when you learn to read actions, everything changes. You stop being deceived. You stop being blindsided. You stop giving loyalty to those who never earned it. Because people reveal themselves every day, not in speeches, but in small choices. The co-worker who always forgets to help. The friend who only shows up when he needs something. The partner who repeats the same betrayal, no matter how many apologies. Patterns don't lie. So remember this. Words can be faked. Actions cannot. If you want to know the truth about someone, ignore what they say. Watch what they do. The seventh forbidden truth. The ultimate power of self-control. Most men believe power is about controlling others, money, status, charm, influence. But Machiavelli knew the greatest power is not control over others. It is control over yourself. Picture this, a council chamber in Florence. Dozens of men shout, argue, slam their fists on the table. At the far end sits one man silent, calm, unmoved. His stillness drowns out their noise. While others bleed their emotions into the air, his composure becomes the loudest voice in a room. Who do you respect more? The men who scream or the man who doesn't need to? Now think about your own life. When was the last time you lost control? You exploded in anger. You said something you regret. You let emotion dictate action. Did you gain respect or lose it? Most people live like slaves to their impulses. They react to every insult. They panic at every setback. They crave attention, validation, comfort. They overshare. They overreact. They overindulge. And what does that make them? Predictable. And predictable men are easy to control. Machiavelli warned, men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims. Most men are chained to those immediate needs. Hunger, lust, ego, fear. That is why they are pawns. But imagine being the exception. Imagine being the man who doesn't flinch when provoked, who doesn't chase when ignored, who doesn't panic when threatened. Think of two lions. The first roars recklessly at every shadow, wasting energy, exposing himself. The second waits in silence, eyes locked, muscles coiled. When he strikes, it is decisive and final. Which lion survives longer? Which one dominates? Self-control is not suppression. It is precision. It is not about being cold. It is about being deliberate. Every word becomes a chess piece, not a dice roll. Every silence becomes sharper than noise. Every action is intentional. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, ruled the most powerful empire on earth. But his greatest victories weren't on the battlefield. They were in his mind. He trained himself daily to master impulses, to remain unmoved in chaos. That is why he endured what crushed other men. So ask yourself, when others push your buttons, do you dance to their rhythm or do you make them dance to yours? When the world demands a reaction, do you explode blindly or do you respond with precision? Here's the truth. The strongest man in the room is never the loudest. It is the one who doesn't need to prove anything. And when you reach that level, people feel it. They lean in when you speak because your words are rare. They hesitate before disrespecting you because they cannot predict you. They sense your presence not through noise but through silence. Machiavelli's lesson is ruthless but liberating. Master yourself and you will never be mastered. Remember this. The man who masters himself cannot be mastered by anyone else. The final truth, player or pawn. Most men don't live. They react. They wake up and reach for their phone. They scroll. They swipe. They consume whatever distraction is placed in front of them. They react to messages, to noise, to the demands of others. And then they wonder why life feels rigged. Why others rise while they stay stuck. Why opportunities always slip through their fingers. The answer is simple. They are living reactively, not strategically. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He knew the world isn't neutral. It is a game, a ruthless game of perception, positioning, and power. And in every game, there are only two kinds of men, the players and the pawns. Picture two men sitting at the same chessboard of life. The first is the reactive man. Every move against him shocks him. He flinches, scrambles, defends. His opponent dictates the pace because his moves are predictable. The second is the strategic man. He doesn't react instantly. He thinks 3 moves ahead. He sacrifices small pieces today for checkmate tomorrow. He controls the board not through noise but through foresight. Now ask yourself, who are you right now? The pawn or the player? Look at business. The reactive man explodes in meetings when challenged. The strategic man smiles, waits, and lets his rival overreach before striking back. Look at love. The reactive man clings desperately when ignored. The strategic man pulls away, creates scarcity, and becomes more valuable. Look at life. The reactive man chases every distraction. The strategic man builds, invests, and prepares. So when opportunity arrives, he is already ready. Strategy is not manipulation. It is awareness. It is recognizing that every silence, every word, every choice is a move on the board. Most men roll dice. Strategic men move chess pieces. So ask yourself again, do you control the pace or are you being dragged by it? Do you see only the present or do you see 3 moves ahead? Here is the brutal truth Machiavelli forces you to face. The man who sees only the present is already lost. But the man who sees the next 3 moves cannot be defeated. Stop chasing. Stop reacting. Start designing. Say when others waste. Train when others relax. Build when others destroy. Because the future does not belong to the strongest or the loudest. It belongs to the most strategic. Life is not fair. Life is not random. Life is chess. You are either the player or the pawn. Choose wisely. The burden of clarity. So here we are. The illusions are gone. The curtain is torn. You've seen what most men will never dare to see. You now know that people are emotional, not rational. That loyalty is conditional, never blind. That reputation is gravity. It speaks before you do. That conflict is inevitable, and only the prepared survive. That niceness is weakness, but goodness demands strength. That words can lie, but actions always reveal the truth. that the ultimate weapon is not charm, wealth, or force. It is self-control. This is a forbidden knowledge Machiavelli left behind. Knowledge so sharp the church tried to bury it. Knowledge so dangerous. Kings and generals studied it in secret, and now it belongs to you. But clarity comes with a burden, because now you can no longer pretend. You can no longer claim ignorance. You can no longer live as a pawn. From this moment on, your silence will carry weight. Your presence will shift rooms. Your choices will decide whether you are treated as a man of power or a man to be used. So remember this, the most powerful man in the room is never the loudest. It is not the one begging to be liked. It is the one who knows who he is and refuses to compromise. Be that man. Live with strategy. Stand with strength. And never again bow to the illusions that keep the masses weak. The forbidden book is open now. And from this moment on, you can never go back.